Okay, we're ready to go. Excellent. We will call the special council meeting to order for Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023. As we gather, we are reminded that the town of Bonnyville is situated on Treaty 6 land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history and is the traditional homeland and home to First Nation and Métis people today. We respect the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nation, Métis, and all First People of Canada, whose presence continues to enrich our community. Council, before us we have an agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Oh. Seeing none, we'll look for a motion to accept the agenda. Councillor McAvoy?
I will move adoption of the agenda as presented.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. All right, under new business, we have a sponsorship request that came in from the Bonnyville Pontiacs for two-person golf scramble. Councillor Linkridge?
Madam Mayor, I would like to recuse myself for this topic.
All right, thank you. We'll come and get you when we're done. Okay, who's taking care of this
That'll be,
item?
yeah, that'll be me, Madam
Okay,
Mayor.
Ted,
Yep.
go ahead.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Well, it's a pleasure to sit in for our CAO Bill today and Renee. And it's lovely to see your smiling faces on this beautiful day today. Item 4A is a sponsorship request from the Bonnyville Junior A Pontiacs two-person golf scramble. Administration received an email on July 13th from Dalton Edwards. The request is that the town take part in the annual two-person golf scramble hosted by the Pontiacs and for us to be a hole-in-one sponsor. The event date is the 19th of August at the Bonnyville Golf and Country Club. Registration at 10 a.m. and the shotgun start at 11 a.m. The request is for $1,800, and that includes entry fees for two golfers plus advertising on site, social media presence, plus a golf sponsor, rink board signage. Administration recommends that council purchase a hole-in-one sponsorship at a cost of $1,800 for the Bonnyville Pontiacs two-person golf scramble being held on August 19th, 2023. Thanks, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. We'll open it up for questions or discussions on the item. Okay, I think this is the first time we've been asked to do this golf tournament. I'm happy that they did ask us. This is a really great organization that we continue to support in other ways, and I'd like to see us support this golf scramble. I think, did you mention, Ted, there was another event that we had sponsored which they are not going ahead with this year. They'll not be hosting their annual sportsman dinner until the new year, which may be irrelevant information. So I think it is. It's
Correct, Madam Mayor. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, they won't.
Yeah,
they won't be hosting that dinner.
yeah. So I think this is another opportunity for us to support their organization. But those are my comments. Council, what do you? Councillor Johnson.
I'd be willing to make the motion on this. They give a lot back to the community. They do Halloween patrol every year. They participate in the Snow Angels and help seniors shovel driveways, stuff like that. So supporting this organization's easy one for me. So I will, sorry, I just lost my page here. So I will make the motion that we purchase hole-in-one sponsorship at the cost of $1,800 for the Bonnyville Pontiacs two-person scramble on August the 19th, 2023.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? That motion is carried. We'll wait for Councillor Langridge to rejoin us before we move on. Welcome back. Okay, so moving on, 4B, we have a request to waive or refund permit fees for the Strathcona Performing Arts Center. Who's looking after this one? Ted?
Ethan,
Go ahead, Ted.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Yeah, so item 4B is a request to waive and refund permit fees for the Strathcona Performing Arts Center. Administration did receive an email from the Clayton Bellamy Foundation for the Arts requesting that council waive the building permit fees for the Strathcona Performing Arts Center. Under policy number 05PD045, which is in your packages, the Planning and Development Department has the discretion to waive fees for nonprofit organizations. The policy does not allow for fee waivers for safety codes permits, however, and those would be building, electrical, plumbing, and gas, unless approved by the safety codes officer responsible for its review, under its review and inspection. That's taken directly from the policy. If approved, the applicant would be required to complete the fee waiver application cancellation fee refund request form, which is also attached, and follow the procedure stated in the policy, go through administration for that. Administration recommends that council consider a donation to the Clayton Bellamy Foundation for the Arts in the amount of $14,038, as well as consider the reversal of the development permit application fee in the amount of $300 for the Strathcona Performing Arts Center.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or comments on this request? Councillor Langridge?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Question through to administration. Do we know an update on the progress of the building? Do they have all the funding in place? So they were looking to, we have as council supported this project already with the $100,000 grant for the building, and then again for their golf and gala initiative, I believe coming up on September 1st for $2,500. Now, we haven't seen them come as a delegation or an update on the project since, so I'm just curious if they're looking for some additional funds. Is this the last step before construction starts? Do they have a lot more money to be fundraised? Just some questions that would be nice to know.
Yeah, through the chair to Councillor Langridge, I'm not quite sure about their funding, and if they're looking for another round of funding. I can tell you that they have submitted a development permit for this, and I could probably forward those comments to Mr. Kopala about the building permit application. We have not received a building permit application as of yet. So this is where they are in the email threads. We just have the email threads here in front of us. They don't talk about, they talk nothing about funding for this project, only that they're requesting the waiver for the application fees, which you can see based on the $2.4 million calculation of the construction project, as you can see in one of the ads or the emails there.
Through to administration, thank you for that. I guess my final comment is, obviously this is a massive project for the town of Bonnyville. I guess just the clarification of, I know council, we've backed it obviously with a large financial contribution already, but knowing that knowing if there's going to be a requirement or an ask further down the road, there's been now 3 asks from the same foundation, but we haven't had an update on where we're at. Is this going to be the final ask? Are we looking, is there going to be a couple more down the road? So that, all the stuff that I would personally like to know the answer to, and because if you continue to approve asks, I just don't know where we draw the line on how many asks they're going to be coming through with. So, thank you.
Okay, Councillor Kushner?
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. I share the same concerns as Councillor Langridge. what I would like to see is this tabled until we do get some more information from the group, would be my motion moving forward, would to table this until either we have a delegation come see us, or we get the information, these answers that we need moving forward. I don't think we can make a intelligent, informed, thank you, decision on this with the information that we have in front of us, would be my opinion.
Thank you. Councillor McAvoy?
I just want a little bit of clarification from administration. The number that we're talking about, the $14,038, that's an estimate, correct? Because that number wouldn't actually be finalized until we know what the final building cost is?
So through to administration to Councillor McAvoy, that is a fee breakdown based on the $2.4 million cost of construction. That includes labor and materials. So that's what we based it on, Councillor McAvoy.
So if it came in at 3.5, it would be a higher number.
It definitely would be a higher number. Yeah.
Which is, I do like the way that the recommendation was worded, that we do a donation for a fixed number as opposed to waiving all fees, because if we waive fees, we don't know what those fees are going to be until we actually see the building permit and everything applied for and taken out. And I would support Councillor Kushnier's position if he were to put forward that motion.
Okay. Any other questions? So I guess just for clarification as well to administration. So the $300 development fee, that is kind of, do we say a fee that's more in-house? The other costs that they're asking us to waive, these are concrete costs that we pay to outside sources, right? Like the safety codes. So it's not necessarily us waiving fees that we're just incurring in-house. These are actual fees that even if we waived them, we would actually be out of pocket paying to a third party, if we want to call it, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, yeah.
All our safety codes fees, well, the Safety Codes Council has a levy on all our building permits, as well as our agency that we use is who we have to pay for all the inspections and stuff.
So it's not necessarily costs that are, should we say, in kind that we are incurring in-house here. They would have to be paid irregardless if they pay it or if we pay it. I know one of the options here is option C, to request them to submit a fee waiver request, which would be the $300, and then the development permit application, so that they would actually fill out a donation form, because in hindsight, I mean, this is a donation, regardless, it's gonna have to be paid. So that could be an avenue, you know, like Councillor McAvoy was alluding to, kind of put it back on them, and so that they have a good understanding that this isn't just us waiving some manpower, you know, that we have to incur. But I do want to just ask Councillor Kushner and Councillor Langridge, if we're going back to them and requesting more information, do you have, what more information do we want that we can go back with them on and ask? And I understand what you guys are saying, I'm not disagreeing, but just for administration, when we go back to them, just, I think we can't just go back to them and say more information. What is it that we want? Do we want them to come back as a delegation? Do we want them to give us another presentation on where we're at? Just a better understanding for administration, if you don't mind. You want to go? Langridge?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor, and very good question. My suggestion and the reasoning for my comments is looking through the information previous, the bill has gone up from about 1.4 million was the original cost, and now we're up to another $1 million. So right there's a large discrepancy from where we started with the $100,000 donation to currently what they're asking, or what the information is at. So $1 million is a lot of additional funding that they're needing. So I personally would like them to come back as a delegation to explain to us where they're at on the project, where they're at with their funding. If this is their final ask for funding from the town of Bonnyville, because right now, like we said, we're on to ask number 3, and we haven't received the development permit yet. So just for myself and that, I would like to know all the information, or the building permit, sorry, whichever one they haven't.
So the development permit they have, but not the building permit. Okay.
So all those would be, for myself, valuable information before providing direction.
Okay, thank you. You want to piggyback on that, Councillor Kushner?
No, that's exactly what I would say as well. I'd like to be able to ask them the questions that we need to ask them moving forward, so I'd like to see a delegation here. And I would make a motion that we table this until we get some more information from them.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the remainder of council? Is that Councillor Sharoon?
I do agree with the two previous councillors, and if we were to look at, again, another funding request, a delegation would be prudent. This is not in our budget again, and then we can perhaps look at it in the fall for our next budget, and, because this is still ongoing. So more information, I believe, is very prudent for this much-needed facility in our community, and I do support it, but we should just follow the proper protocols, and if we, start writing off dollars for dollars, then the perception is out there that we're just writing off the permits and the fees and everything else, which we don't want to get into a precedent-setting situation. So let's have them come back, see what they're, like the past two councillors spoke, see what their budget is going to be, what are they perceiving, especially with this increase, and then we can go from there.
Okay. Rest of council is agreeable? Okay. So Councillor Kushner, you have a motion then on the floor. We'll table this until we can have the group come as a delegation. Okay. All in favor? Carried. All right, thank you. Okay, next up, Community Futures Lakeland looking for sponsorship for their entrepreneurship training program. Who wants to speak on this?
Yeah, I'll speak to that, Madam Mayor. Thank you very much. Item 4C, sponsorship request from Community Futures Lakeland for their entrepreneurship training program. Administration received a sponsorship request from Lisa Ford, who's the general manager of Community Futures Lakeland, requesting council to sponsor their entrepreneurship training program. This program hosts 12 events over 8 months, including workshops and mentorship and training to entrepreneurs in our region. 10 entrepreneurs and 12 mentors, plus 23 businesses in Bonnyville and the region are involved in hosting this event, in this important event in our program. The Community Futures advises that $19,500 was spent at local businesses last year, and they maintain that the investment in this program would be spent locally. The town has not previously sponsored this program, but has partnered with Community Futures Lakeland in the past with the Beautification Grant Program. And the request is that the town sponsor the program in the amount of $4,000 this year. Administration recommends that council provide a sponsorship of up to $4,000 for the Community Futures Lakeland Entrepreneurship Training Program. There are some options, but that is what the administration recommends. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Open up the floor for questions or comments on this request. No? Okay, Councillor Johnson, want to start us off?
Going through some of the package that they sent us, there's a few Bonnyville businesses and entrepreneurs that have benefited from this. And we were previously, if administration can just confirm this, we had $13,520 set aside for the beautification grant program that's been canceled for this year, I believe. Was that in the budget?
I think Renee was going to follow up with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we don't know if that was in the budget yet or not. Okay.
It is budgeted.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we're not doing that, I have no problem spending $4,000 for this. I think it's good for local area entrepreneurs and help grow the area a bit. So, and I'd love to see them host some events in Bonnyville as well.
Councillor McAvoy?
I'll echo Councillor Johnson, because that's what I was going to say. So,
Yeah, I mean, of course, I will speak to it a little bit as the chair of Community Futures. I appreciate you noticing that, Councillor Johnson. Yeah, out of the 6 entrepreneurs, 4 were from Bonnyville. And if you want to refer to page 23 out of our package, this was the brochure that at the year end everybody got. And I will tell you, everybody noticed that the town of Bonnyville wasn't on there as a sponsor. And it was a very highly successful program. And so these are businesses that have started within 1 to 3 years, so they're in their infancy. And they have more of a success if they go through an entrepreneur, they get paired with a mentor, somebody who can help them through their business cycle, because there's a lot of ins and outs. It's more than, you might have a passion for a business, but running a business is more than that. So when you have somebody as a mentor that you can go back and help you to be successful. So there was Alberta Innovates, they were here, they will continue to sponsor this event, so I think it's going to be successful going forward. And of course, I'd really love to see the town of Bonnyville sponsor it as well, so that's my spiel. Councillor Kushner?
Being on that board myself at one time. Oh, there we go. Being on that board myself at one time was very enlightening to see. One of the things is economic growth that we want to see in the town of Bonnyville, and to be business friendly. That comes from us, from administration, from everybody. I would have no problem supporting the $4,000 going forward with this just because of that. And if we can help our businesses at all, I think it's definitely worth the $4,000, in my opinion. Thanks, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, so we are looking for a recommendation through a motion. If somebody would be in. Councillor McAvoy?
I would be pleased to make that motion, that we make the $4,000 donation to participate in this program.
Excellent, thank you. All in favor? That's carried, thank you. All right, so we have another request for funding for sponsorship from Community Futures for their entrepreneurship, for the Power Up North Conference. Ted, you want to talk on that one?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'll speak to that. Yeah, item 4D is a sponsorship request from Community Futures Lakeland for the Power Up North Conference. The administration did receive a sponsorship request form from Lisa Ford at Community Futures Lakeland, and the request is to sponsor their Power Up North Conference being held at the Hotel Dene and Conference Center October 3rd through the 5th of this year. It's an annual event, and it's designed to support rural economic development, entrepreneurs and businesses who are vital to the economy and our community as a whole. Some of the highlights of this conference are the future of tourism, how to future-proof your business finances, and future face of employment. Roger